So today I'm checking out the interview of Drishyam 2, the Hindi one's director Abhishek Pathak, and I actually want to know after watching the film, what was the process, how did they go around it, because you're making a remake of a sequel of a film which I've already remade. So it's like a remake sequel. So I want to know what was the process, and he even talks about Jeethu Joseph and Drishyam 3 and all of that. And if you haven't seen this video, it's by Pinkvilla. I'll put the link in the description, you can check it out.
You watched Drishyam 2, the original. What was your first reaction like, and how did you decide on making that film over here? Like, what was that point
Nice question.
So in fact, when I saw the film, I was watching the film as a producer.
Yeah.
Because we had produced a part 1 and we wanted to acquire the rights for the part 2. That time there was no plan to direct the film, in fact.
Yeah.
So I bought the rights, we got the rights, and then internally we discussed it. Someone told me, why don't you direct it? And it took me a couple of months, like, just to think if I want to do it or no. Because it's, again, something which has been done by someone. And the part 1 done by some other director. When she's not there anymore with us. So to take a call to make it, I took a month or two to even think the world I want to create with, will I be able to justify it?
Yeah.
So yeah, then I took it and I said, the story itself is beautiful and it's brilliant, one of the most amazing thriller we have seen. So yeah, I took a little more time to write it, around 6-7 months to write the film, and then we were on board with it.
But the process to remake, how does that happen? Do you even get the screenplay draft from the original film, or is it like you watch it and then you...
No, so we saw the film in terms of the idea of crux of the film. We said this is a film which we can make, obviously. We got the screenplay translated into English first, because obviously they will give us the English draft. So we got the draft, we read the entire draft. Then we took a lot of time to...
This is interesting to know how the remake rights work.
Write it in our world of Hindi cinema, I would call it. Yeah, so yeah, it's a little process which we have to follow. Otherwise, what happens, people take remake literally like a remake. They want to just make the film the way it is. The idea of remaking, I like the idea of the film. And you want to make it in your own vision and your own world of what you're thinking about this film should set in that world. So that was the idea whole. I mean, we have to make it come into our world. The idea of it, the story of it, that's it. Nothing.
That's a good way to go about it.
More than that we should take when we talk about remake.
When you were seeing Drishyam and with the perspective of making it in Hindi, what were the pointers that you jotted down initially? This aspect is very good. We can't mess around with it, and these are the aspects where I think I can bring about some elements of change.
So that, in fact, everyone...
That's a very good question. I would like to ask that question.
Even when audience watches a film, they look at the film and they say, this could have been better. That could have been better. This character could have been a little better, or the dialogue could have been better. So it's not about me acquiring rights or watching a film or developing something. The same as when I saw the film, it's made for a certain set of audience, a certain regional language set of audience. They have a certain milieu, certain tone, certain treatment to film which they like. But when you bring it to Hindi belt, it is it's a wider audience which we have to cater to a north audience, and then it comes to south also, west. It's pan India. So we have to really look at the taste what we want to achieve with it. And
what he's trying to say, multiple states which multiple cultures, so you have to make it simpler for all of them to understand, instead of just making for Malayalam audience in that sense.
Make sure the tonality doesn't change, the crux doesn't change of the film, the soul doesn't change of the film. So that was taken care very carefully. But at the same time, we made it more edgier. Screenplay became more pacey, I would call it, because the drama they hold in Malayalam, and the audience are very patient. They love certain kind of treatment to it. But when you come here, there's certain level of patience or treatment people expect. So that's something which we tried to change in this film.
There have been reports in the media that this is a crispier film in terms of runtime. So could you tell us something on that aspect as to, I think
Wait, let me check how long was the original. Drishyam 2, the resumption. What was the running time? 153 minutes, which is 2 hours 33 minutes, right? What about this one? Wait, how do I find? I think it was 2 hours 40, I guess. It is 140 minutes. So 13 minutes less. Interesting. Let's go.
First half is
even in Drishyam 1, the first half is intimate. If you look at the numerical length, it is shorter than the second half in the part 1 as well. The part 1 was about 56 minutes of first half, and second half was 1 hour 40 minutes.
Okay.
But people said first half is a little slow because it's set up.
It's a build up.
It's a setup for the whole thing which is gonna come in the second half. But the second half is 1 hour 40 minutes. And people, it's much pacier. So it's a psychological thing. I mean, when you get engrossed in a film, you don't look at the length into numbers.
Yeah.
You just go by the experience of it.
Yeah.
Here, same again. In the first half, it's the setup of the film, and the second half is something which people are gonna love and they're gonna come for and they're gonna talk about. In the other version, they have a certain mood. For the setup and the drama and the character.
Yeah, I did feel like, in Malayalam, they spend more time on the struggle the family is facing, I guess there were more sequences there and more of what Mohanlal is going through, like George Kutty is going through. Whereas in the Hindi one, it just, we just go on with it. They don't spend that much time. And, I was actually watching the trailer for Drishyam 2, the Hindi one. There's actually some sequences which are not there in the film. So at least, actually, they cut out sequences, I think, which were there in the original also. They shot it for this one also, but they didn't add it in the film to make it crispier, I guess.
Journey. Here we have done a little more crispier because we want to get to the point faster, not leaving any soul and characters incomplete. So we had to solve that, but it took a little time, but it's a very crispier cut, I would say, call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one aspect which I see as a different approach is the fact that Vijay Salgaonkar over here is a lot more heroic. He has that calm and candor, but he's heroic with those dialogues and everything. Was that a conscious effort on your and the writers, like the team of writers,
heroic.
to give those one-liners and keep it thoda sa larger than life?
We actually never thought we would really do it that way, but while writing the whole thing, the dialogues started coming out. It never sounded filmy to me though, when you were writing, but the way they're coming in the film now, they have been noticed and they've been picked up all over. I think people are talking about those dialogues. This is not a film which is more than larger than life and that heroic thing. But it's a character of a father who's gonna do anything for the family. It itself is a very important dynamic aspect of it. So I think the dialogue, it worked in that favor. They are very simple, but at the same time very heroic at the same time. So it works in both ways. It's not very what we call a filmy dialogue, but it works in the whole the idea of Drishyam.
And I think it's also the way Ajay sir says it. Like he is so effortless with the lines. Even a simple line which you might have written on paper, ke simple line hai, but the way he says it, ye to heroic ho gaya. Maybe.
Yeah, so
that's true. I talked about my review also. Just what the actors can bring, right? Such legendary actors can bring to a role. And that, I think, elevates the Hindi remakes. That makes it more interesting for the audiences.
Like, be it Akshay, Ajay, everyone, these actors, a line just simple as, very simple, har insaan ki teen tarah ki duniya hoti hai. There's a very beautiful dialogue which comes in the film. And when it came to, ye bahut kamal ka lag raha hai. It's gonna cut into a very good trailer or a very good voiceover. So there's a beautiful voiceover which we wrote in the beginning of the film, which you'll see. Shabd Opani Drishya Pe Dhyan Do. It's been written somewhere in the social media also. We started talking about it. The way it comes, it's beautiful. I mean, it's a delivery part which these actors have done a brilliant job, I would call it. Unki awaaz, the way they say it, it's fabulous.
And you have literally grown in front of Ajay sir.
Yeah.
How was it to direct him on the set? And what were the kind of...
I don't know why this image I've seen so many times, and I don't know why it looks photoshopped. That the actors were there, but the director is photoshopped in between them. I don't know why. There's something wrong with the shadow, something like that. This is the space around the picture. It doesn't look like a guy can fit between them. Or maybe it's a picture like that. Sometimes it happens.
Inputs that he also gave you on the shoot, because of course he has almost 30 years of experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most difficult part of this film for me, I think. Being with him, sitting with him, chatting with him as a producer, as a family, it's a very different ball game. So when I went on first ever shoot, I couldn't sleep the entire night.
Okay.
Because it was his first day of shoot on the film shoot. And I was like, since I've known him, I've always called him Bhaiya. I've looked at him like a certain way. He's been a superior actor, we all know that. To even tell him like exactly what to be done. And there might be different opinion, obviously. He might look at certain scene a certain way. I'm looking at it in a very different way. But fortunately, we all were on the same page. there was not even a moment where he differed with me and my ideas or something. Just 1 or 2 times we had a discussion which was very, very general discussion an actor and a director has. So I think it was pretty smooth ride with him, in fact, I would call it. Akshay, Tabu and all, I know Akshay really well. पहले से तो वो भी आसान हुआ काफी process मेरे लिए. And even Tabu ma'am. So I think it was a very genuine, beautiful process with all these actors.
I think Ajay ran the trailer and said that it was your idea to get him on board. How did this name?
This is interesting. I want to know. This is the highlight of the film.
Come cross your mind, you know, to have this strong force in front of. I think this character is also not there in the.
Not there.
Yeah.
Not there.
So you created this character and then could you tell us something about the character and getting Akshay Khanna on board?
Yeah.
Excuse me? There is an IG character there, played by Murli Gopi. So, it's very different in treatment, but it was there.
Part 1 obviously had Tabu and Akshay's confrontation, both at par. And when I saw the Malayalam and when we read the script, the character we thought little was there, but it should have been little more juicy.
Yeah.
So we actually kept that character on set. Just journey was kept in spirit with us. That he's going to investigate the entire case now. Yeah. So we rewrote the entire character again. Again, IG of Goa Police. Yeah. He's replacing Tabu Ma'am's character in this film. So while writing also, before starting the screenplay, I actually thought of a scene which this character would play out. And then we came to the idea okay, who will be in this role.
Interesting.
When we were writing in Goa, about in 2021, August, September, around that, we were writing the screenplay that time. So we used to call the character AK.
Okay.
We had that we're going to get Akshay for this role for sure, because the way it's coming out, he will love it.
Okay.
So we never had a...
This shot, man, just go a frame back. Just, devil is coming. And he's not really a devil, he's like, you know, like a mastermind kind of, you know, he has got him like... Just his face, like I love this shot of Akshay.
The character's name initially, the Tarun Alawat, we had AK writing when we started talking about it, AK. And once we had the entire scene there and we got a screenplay done, I met him and I told him I want to make you a script right now. Drishyam. So he's not seen part 1. Okay. He's aware of it, he's loved it. I told him to watch it, but no, I don't want to watch it. Because it's a new journey for me, I will just go by the script right now.
Okay. You mean the original Drishyam he had not?
Part 1.
Okay.
So he's not seen part 1.
Okay.
He said, it's good for me because I don't know what happened. Let me just read the script, get into this film with this screenplay.
Okay.
So he read the screenplay. We went to Alibag to narrate to him. He initially he had a thought, it's Ajay's film. I don't know why you want me for this film. I said, you don't think like that, just read the screenplay right now. So I left him, I gave him a copy of script and came back. In the night he called me, I'm doing the film. Okay. So that's a simple journey for him coming on board for this film.
Okay.
I mean, it's all about material writing on paper.
Yeah.
If you have that kind of material, I think people, even actors looking for good roles and good scripts. So he got it and he's just jumped on it, I would say.
Since the trailer of Drishyam 2 has come out, there is a hope that, you know, ये genre भी अगर बराबर से mount किया, excitement create किया, people will come to the theater.
Yeah.
Yep. So we can see the result. I think how much? 70-80 crores in 3 days.
2 questions. Number 1, how do you view thriller as a genre for theatrical medium, and does it put some sort of pressure when people have expectations in terms of box office?
I have to say, man, the questions are really, really good.
When so much has gone, you know, haywire in the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, I think box office run in this world no one can predict. No one knows what will run and how much it will reach up to. Talking about thriller being that theatrical experience, you yourself said the dialogues are very good.
Yeah.
It's heroic and dynamic. So that's the whole idea. We made this film in a certain way that when people watch it, they just connect with it, the characters really fast. I mean, pulling people, any genre can pull people. It can put people off in any genre. I mean, genre is something which doesn't have any boundary in terms of box office collection. It's by the end the content what we provide them. And thriller, I agree, certain people think that it's a OTT thing, but I also seen a lot of comedies and everything is coming on OTT.
Yeah.
It's a setup how you make it. I mean, any genre can come on any platform, I would call it. But it's the way you shoot the film, the way you make it, the way you mount it. And the way you market it. You market the way it should be for theatrical, people would love to come. Even they want to come to theater. They're not saying we only want to sit at home and watch OTT.
Yeah.
That's a separate medium they got now to watch alternative content also.
Yeah.
But at the same time, theatrical experience something which they will not leave eventually.
Correct.
Be it any genre, I would call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's already so much chatter about Drishyam 3 as well.
Yeah.
Do you plan something?
There is chatter, but at the moment, there's nothing happening at the moment. So it's going to take a little while to write it. I mean, they took 7 years.
Yeah.
If we come up with something, we're going to take a couple of years.
Yeah.
They just made the film last year, in fact.
Yeah.
And Drishyam, as a franchise, I don't think no one should hurry to make it.
Of course.
So they are planning to make themselves, or they're gonna wait for Jeethu Joseph to write it and then they get the script? Like, I'm confused.
Band which needs beautiful screenplay. Till the time we don't get it, no, I don't think anyone will make it. It's that simple. It's a very intelligent screenplay.
Yeah.
It's a very intelligent story written by Jeethu Joseph. I think he'll again crack it, and he'll crack it big time again. I think so. He's brilliant, I would call it.
And Ajay sir is like a family. Are there developments happening with him as well? Because Raid is a film which I believe Bhushanji has also spoken multiple times how a part 2 is happening.
Correct.
So I believe that's a film which is in the development, if I'm
correct. That's gonna come because obviously Raid was loved by a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's something which is widely accepted.
I watched that film and it was good. It had some vibes, similar vibes, and it was interesting idea of corruption and how much money is hidden, and I think it was based on a true case and all. But yeah, nothing like really stood out. Just one time watch, I would say.
Film. I mean, to get a correct screenplay again, I told you, it takes time.
Yeah.
So let that screenplay reach a stage where we say now we can go on flow. So that's the time we're gonna announce about the entire slate. Yeah. There are a couple of things which needs to be there. Once that's there, then we're gonna talk about it.
And has your mindset as a producer changed due to the pandemic?
I kind of
Interesting.
agree with a lot of people that theatrical experience need to be a little wider now. There was film which we were also making, other producers, studios, actors were doing, which were content-driven film which used to become surprise hit. The film which I made like Punchnama's and Vicky Donors bani hai, Queen bani hai. I'm not sure how, like Punchnama is still, I would say, is a cult film now. I mean, when part 3 will come, it's an entertainment film.
Yeah.
Part 1, when we made it was a smaller film. But
Part
when it
2
became a
was
cult.
surprise, it did 100, I think. It was the first 100 for Kartik. Yeah.
So, I think there are a little thin line which we have to draw between what needs to go on OTT and what people need to go and watch like film theater to get the experience.
That's interesting. So basically like a niche, which like a certain topic, and certain people will like it more and all. Maybe OTT, and if it's a wide, like wide topic, everyone can relate and all of that, you can put it out on theaters. Maybe that's right.
I think comedy as a genre is underexplored in our industry, and that is a genre which has massive market, especially in post-pandemic world जहाँ पे लोगों ने इतना सारा दुख दर्द देखा है. They would just want to go to theater and have a blast.
It's not a genre which is underexplored. I think it is the writing of comedy which has been not tested. They are not doing the correct thing, I would call it. I mean, we have some great writers in a country who are writing good stuff, but again, there are certain number of films only being made in comedy which are doing good. But again,
horror comedies.
Still, that writing material is not coming out. Like, why are we not making Punchnama 3 right now? It's been so many years. I think we came back
2016.
in 15 we shot and 16 we came.
Yeah, 16.
It's been 6 years. We don't have a script right now. We have an idea. The idea is, till the time you don't get that material, don't make the film. I mean, you need to have... Comedy is the most difficult screenplay, I would call it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're writing a line which people need to laugh at.
Yeah.
It's not a visual treatment which a action film will give you, a high. It's just few words which you write and make sure everyone in theater is going to laugh at it. It's a tough writing. And people need to get that thing correct. So I think comedy is a big genre. Horror is a very big genre, I would believe.
Yeah.
Horror in India is still not tapped correctly. There are certain films which I love, like Bhoot. But again,
Raz and,
but still the genre is not there correctly.
Yeah. Punchnama 3 is something you spoke about. But you plan to make it at some point of time because that's a subject which is loved with those characters.
It's relatable.
Yeah.
So once law writes, we will make it like that. It's a time. Let's see how long that's going to take.
What are the 5 aspects of Drishyam 2? Because these days बहुत सारा debate चल रहा है remake culture के बारे में. But I know that Drishyam 2 is very different from the original. What, according to you, are the 5 aspects that makes it different from what the Malayalam
Interesting
version
question.
was?
But I think that when you do a remake, there should be one aspect you take from the film, the story. Rest everything should be your own. Otherwise, how will you own the film?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a story which you loved, That's why you're paying the price to take that.
Yeah.
Not the making of the director.
Yeah.
There's a certain way a director made the film, but you like the story of the film. Just take that and make it your own by creating your own visual, the dialogue again, the screenplay treatment, the mood, the characters. You put in your own world. There are so many films made, like even Departed or Vanilla Sky. They all made remakes, but they made it very differently. I mean, if you don't make it differently, then you're just making it to make money eventually.
Yeah.
If you want to own the film, you have to just take story. That's it.
And that's true in that sense. I definitely felt the treatment, like in a lot of ways. That's why I say the Drishyam worlds are the same story but different worlds. And for that you need to put in effort, not just copy paste everything scene by scene.
Make it your own. That's the way you should make remake. Otherwise, there's no point. People have already seen a lot of stuff. So what new you're gonna offer them is something they're looking for. And if they don't see in that trailer, they will not come up for it.
Of course.
It's that simple. They are very smart now. Audience has become very smart.
Of course, that we have seen.
Yeah,
they can sense a good product more than anyone else.
Yeah, they know exactly क्या देखना है क्या नहीं देखना है तो उनको पता है उनको.
And on that note, thank you so much for talking to us and wish you all the best for Drishyam.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That was a good interview. I think his name was Himesh. He's very active on Twitter, so that was a good one. I'll actually tweet to him that it was a really good interview, good questions, and it was nice to hear a lot of. I think this also makes me understand more that why Drishyam, the Hindi versions stand out, for, on their own. It's not like other remakes where they ruined this, they ruined that, that didn't make sense and all of that. I think the things they elevate and again, it's like a good study. And you're making a same story in different versions. Why? Malayalam film, why is made like that? Why it's longer than longer, This one says crispier, but this one Hindi audience like more, but Malayalam audiences like more, or audiences who prefer that one over this. So it's like such a, interesting concept in India with remakes. And I think Drishyam kind of film deserves remakes. I think if Drishyam 1 had come out, in this time and it had become a huge hit and they would have themselves dubbed it, maybe the film wouldn't have that big impact pan India. But right now it's like everyone knows Drishyam, and everyone also knows now that it's also a remake. They know the Malayalam one is the original. I think the future, like someday, just imagine George Kutty meeting Vijay Salgaonkar. Who knows? Drishyam universe. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and then you can check out this video next. If you like this, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.